Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Unbound. I'm Jay Morales with my co host, Revelation, and this is episode 21. Tonight, we're diving into the stories you need to know from Trump administration partially funding SNAP and pumping WIC programs. To flight delays piling up as the government shutdown stretches on just before Thanksgiving. The FBI has foiled a potential terrorist attack in Michigan. The U.S. military has conducted strikes in the Caribbean, and we've got shocking domestic crime updates that will leave you speechless. We'll also cover the 48.7 billion Kimberly Clark acquisition of Tylenol maker Kenvue. In the Congressional Hispanic Caucus push to overhaul ICE, plus our entertainment and sports segments to round up this show. Stay with us because this episode is packed with insight discussions and updates that you won't find anywhere else. How you doing, Revelations?
I'm doing pretty much normal as I am every day.
Good, good. That's always good to hear. I'm glad that you're here with us as always. Without you, you know that this show wouldn't be where we're at right now. Specifically, did you hear the good news?
Yes, that we are over that absolutely wonderful 1,000 mark.
Hey! You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? We are over the 1,002 subscribers. Thank you very much for those of you who have been tuning in and those of you who have been checking out our shorts and so on and so forth. We truly appreciate you here on the Unbound podcast. And hopefully we're going to be starting something fresh next month where we're going to be making some T-shirts. What was the one that you had an idea of there, Revelations?
Oh, well, you see, considering how much docket team screws up, we're just gonna, plaster them onto an item of clothing, so that everyone can just, wear it around, and everyone knows that docket team screws up and that we have to blame them.
Yeah, yeah. Like they always do, always messing up. Misters and Mrs. Dockets.
That's right, because we believe in inclusivity. So we don't just have either a male or a female
No,
working.
correct.
There's a male and a female, and we're not including race at this time.
Nope.
It's just the best person wins.
Indeed.
We want our show to be good.
Good mint and no discrimination. And talking about no discrimination, we also have our special guest, Dabdon710. How you doing, buddy?
Docket team, play the cricket noises.
Oh, docket team. Docket team. Oh. Well, hopefully he'll be joining us at some point today. That was a massive failure from our good friend Dabdon.
I think docket team might have cut off his audio. I'm not sure.
The audio was reinstated. He's been unmuted. He's been unmuted. Why? Can you hear him?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, tonight we start with breaking developments out of Washington, where the Trump administration has confirmed that the nation's main food aid program, SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, will now be partially funded for the month of November. This announcement comes after two separate court rulings forced the federal government to act. Judges Rhode Island and Massachusetts ordered the administration to maintain partial funding to prevent a total shutdown of SNAP services amid ongoing federal budget standoff. The decision allows the U.S. Department of Agriculture to use roughly $4.6 billion from its emergency reserve, enough to cover about half of the month regular payout. Normally, the program costs close to $8 billion per month and supports more than 42 million Americans, including families, veterans, and seniors. However, this fix isn't full coverage. It's a temporary patch under current ruling. New SNAP applicants won't receive benefits until further notice. And for those already enrolled, payments could be delayed as individual states scramble to process partial funding. In some states, local leaders are already stepping up. Maryland's governor, for example, announced that the state will front the missing portion to make sure residents don't go hungry. But those not a solution every state can afford. Some smaller states are warning that food banks and charities will face a surge in demand they can't sustain. The Trump administration has said it doesn't have the legal authority to fully fund SNAP during shutdown without congressional approval. But critics argue this crisis could have been avoided altogether through better fiscal planning and bipartisan negotiation. Beyond the politics, the human cost is undeniable. For millions of working families, SNAP isn't a luxury. It's the difference between stability and hunger. Even a few weeks without benefit can cause missed meals, increased debt, and health impacts that last long after shutdown ends. The symbolism here is powerful. Food security is being debated in courtrooms instead of Congress, and that speaks volumes about the state of our politics today. And my discussion questions to this: should federal food programs like SNAP ever be allowed to hang in the balance during political stalemates? Stalemates. In the is the administration right to limit spending authority until Congress acts, or should emergency funding be automatic when human needs are at stake? And what lessons should both parties take from this about leadership accountability and the moral cost of budget gridlock? And for states like Maryland that are stepping in, should more governors take the initiative, or does it risk setting an uneven national precedent? What do you guys think?
Honestly, I think more states should step in to help it, like, but only if, like, they realize that the government can't, like, help overall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, if the government isn't able to help all the states with that certain situation, then they should be, like, kind of do it to where, like, okay, well, fuck this kind of emergency situation. They don't have the capability to help everyone, only a limited number of people. So I guess we kind of got to do it, real fast. So we have a little bit, like, we have a faster response to be able to slap that band-aid on than they do.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of band-aids,
Speaking of band aids.
yeah, docket team, speaking of band-aids,
Yeah, I know you.
Tylenol.
Yeah, the Tylenol. Yeah, we'll talk about that. You're getting ahead of yourself there, buddy, old pal.
I mean, we could have just gone right into it because of that.
Well, yeah, speaking of band aids, ladies and gentlemen, did you hear that they just made a settlement of $48 billion with Kimberly? What's her name again? Kimberly? You know what? Give me a minute. Freaking docket team over here. Mr. Docket Team, now we're going to call him. I'm going all over the place now with the kid. What was it called? The lady. Ladies and gentlemen, this man just threw the whole thing under the table tonight.
Well, you gotta,
You know
you
what?
gotta
Talking
adapt.
about band-aids, in a move set to reshape the consumer health and household good industry, Kimberly Clark Corporation announced its agreement to acquire Kenvue Incorporated, the company behind major brands such as Tylenol, Neutrogena, Band-Aid, and Listerine. The deal is valued at approximately $48.7 billion in cash and stock, making it one of the largest acquisitions of the year in the sector. Under the terms of the transaction, Kenvue shareholders will receive $3.50 in cash plus 0.14625 shares of Kimberly Clark for each share they hold. This values Kenvue at roughly $21.01 per share, 46% premium over its recent closing price. Upon completion, Kimberly Clark shareholders are expected to own about 54% of the combined company, while Kenvue shareholders will hold roughly 46%. The companies anticipate generating approximately $32 billion in annual revenues once the merger is complete. Analysts also expect annual costs and revenue synergies in the range of $1.9 billion to $2.1 billion, with reinvestment of about $300 million planned within the first 2 years of integration. The deal is expected to close in the second half of 2026, pending shareholders and regulatory approval. This acquisition consolidates two major global players, Kimberly Clark, known for household staples such as Huggies, Kleenex, Cottonelle, and Kotex, will now combine forces with Kenvue, whose portfolio includes Tylenol, Band-Aid, Neutrogena, Aveeno, and Listerine. The merger allows Kimberly Clark to expand its footprint in consumer health and wellness, complementing its traditional household goods businesses. However, Kenvue is also brings challenges, including recent sales declines, ongoing litigation, and reputational scrutiny over Tylenol and other legacy products. Investors' reactions were mixed. Kenvue stock surged roughly 15 to 20% following the announcement, while Kimberly Clark shares fell by around 13 to 14% as investors weighed the cost and integration risk. Activist investor had previously pressured Kenvue to pursue strategic option after its spin-off from Johnson & Johnson in 2023, as the company shares had dropped more than 30% in the year leading up to the deal. Recent developments add context to the acquisition. Public warnings regarding Tylenol's use during pregnancy, despite unproven claims linking linking it to autism, have increased scrutiny on Kenvue and contributed to litigation risk. The structure of the acquisition includes a breakup fee of $1.12 billion if either way party draws. Emphasizing the complexity and magnitude of the transaction, Kimberly Clark CEO Mike Hsu emphasized the thorough review of risks, including litigation and brand reputation issues, while expressing confidence in the generational value creation opportunity. The acquisition represents Kenvue CEO Kirk Perry underscored the company's commitment to the science and safety of its products, signaling a shared focus on brand integrity post-merger. The deal has broad implications for the market. Regulatory approval is anticipated to involve close antitrust scrutiny due to overlapping categories in personal care and consumer health. Executing the integration successfully will be crucial to achieving projected synergies and maintaining brand strength. The acquisition may also influence consumer behavior and competition within the industry, potentially affecting pricing, product availability, and opportunities for smaller niche brands. As this story continues to unfold, the listeners should watch for how Kimberly Clark navigates integration challenges, addresses legacy litigations issues, and leverages the expanded brand portfolio to capture market growth. The merger represents both major opportunity and a significant risk, illustrating the complexities of large-scale consolidation in the consumer goods sector. Discussion questions naturally arise. Is this the acquisition? Is this acquisition a strategic masterstroke or risk-laden gamble? How might the merger affect consumer choice, pricing, and brand loyalty? Can Kimberly Clark successfully manage the reputational and legal risk it inherits with Kenvue? And ultimately, what does this mean for the competitive landscape of consumer health and household products over the next decade? Go ahead. What do you guys think? And let me know in the comments section. Also, what do you think, Revelation? And or Dab, if you're there.
Um,
Go ahead.
I honestly think that they just should not have even bought the damn thing. Like, they seem to have been doing really well with what they were doing, and now they're going and buying something that is, you know, was losing money and has apparently been swirling in controversy.
Right?
Like, yeah, plenty of times that's done well before, but those were usually just companies that were losing money. They really weren't swirling in any sort of political or other controversy. Not both. Like, you know, like, and they were usually in the same field at that. Now going into getting into another field and taking on both of those things, it's like, are you really sure you know how to do all of this? Like, are you good with this?
Yeah, are you good or
Like, uh, you you better not plan short game. Like, this is a long game type deal. Otherwise, you're gonna be selling this company for a loss in like 3-4 years.
facts? Well, from that, everybody, we're moving on now back to food security in America. And this
Food.
time, we're going to focus on the WIC program, which stands for Women, Infants, and Children. The Trump administration has announced a new emergency infusion of $450 million to keep WIC funded for the next few weeks. The move comes as the government shutdown stretches on, and thousands of local agencies began warning that they were just days away from cutting off food vouchers for low income mothers and babies. For context, WIC supports about 7 million people nationwide, mostly pregnant women, new mothers, and children under 5. The program provides nutrition education, baby formula, and food vouchers for essential like milk, eggs, cereal, and produce, all basic items that many households simply can't afford without assistance. According to the USDA, this new funding will come from Section 32 tariffs reserves, essentially leftover trade revenues that the government can redirect during emergencies. It's the second emergency transfer in just over a month, following a smaller 300 million allocation in October to prevent state agencies from running dry. But this is more of a band-aid than a cure. Officials estimate that this 450 million will only keep the program afloat for 2 to 3 weeks, depending how quickly states spend through their funds. If the shutdown continues into late November, another shortfall is likely. Meanwhile, local WIC offices are bracing for heavier demand. With SNAP benefits now only partially funded, more families are expected to turn to WIC as a backup, which could stretch limited resources even thinner. Some state directors say they're already uh, uh, fielding panic calls from mothers unsure if they'll be able to buy formula or baby food next month. The administration says the infusion shows it's acting responsibly to protect vulnerable families. Critics counter that this kind of patchwork funding reflects a deeper issue. that critical programs are being run on emergency lifelines instead of stable budgets. And that's the bigger story here. It's not just about one program, it's about how political stalemates in Washington trickle down into kitchen tables across America. When government gridlock it hits, it's the working mom, the single parent, the family that's trying to stretch a gallon of milk who ends up paying the price. And our discussion questions here: should programs like WIC and SNAP be protected from shutdowns altogether, even if it means bypassing Congress during emergencies? Is the Trump administration emergency funding approach a responsible fix or just delaying a bigger crisis? And how can states better prepare for these funding gaps if federal support keeps coming in waves? Um, and final question: and at what point does the human cost of political gridlock outweigh the budget debate itself? Uh, Let us know in the comment section what you guys think, and what do you think, Revelations?
Honestly, I don't really know for that one. Like, yeah, I don't really have an answer for that.
uh, Per docket team, um, yes, WIC and SNAP are essential lifelines for millions of Americans, including infants, children, seniors, and low income families. During emergencies, bypassing Congress to ensure uninterrupted funding can be justified ethically because these programs address basic survival needs. Protecting access during the political deadlocks reinforces the principle that human welfare should come before legislative battles. And then to the following question: is the Trump administration emergency funding approach a responsible fix or just delaying a bigger crisis? It's more of a short term patch than a long term solution. Limiting spending authority or offering stopgap emergencies funds can prevent immediate harm, but it does not address the underlying political stalemate. While it may be pragmatic to prevent immediate hunger, relying on temporary fixes risk recurring crisis, and underscores the need for a more stable automatic mechanism for essential programs. And then, how can states better prepare for these funds or funding gaps if federal support keeps coming in waves? Um, States can establish emergency reserve funds, especially for nutrition and health programs, and coordinating with nonprofits, food banks, and local agencies to ensure continuity of services. And then, and on also implementing flexible state level policies that can temporarily expand eligibility or speed benefit distribution during federal delays. However, state level preparation is a band aid. States cannot fully replace federal support, especially for larger populations or smaller states with limited budgets. And then the final question again was: at what point does the human cost political gridlock outweigh the budget debate itself? Well, the human cost outweighs any political calculation. The moment families face hunger, children go without nutrition, or seniors cannot access essential when political delays result in an immediate harm to human health or well-being. The moral imperative should override partisan negotiation. Budget debates are important, but they lose legitimacy when they threaten survival. Let us know in the comment sections what you think per docket team's answers. We turn now to the skies, and the story isn't pretty. As the government shutdown enters its second month, airports across the United States are facing growing crisis, massive flight delays, and ripple effects that could hit their worst point yet, right as we head into the Thanksgiving travel season. According to recent reports, more than 3.2 million passengers have already been impacted since the shutdown began. Over the past week alone, the Federal Aviation Administration has reported thousands of daily delays. In the Transportation Security Administration is warning that the check lines could triple in length as unpaid workers continue clocking in under stress. Under increasing stress. Air traffic controllers, TSA agents, and airports operations staff, all considered essential personnel, are working without pay. Many are now calling in sick, taking second jobs, or burning out after weeks without relief. That's left fewer workers handling more flights, more passengers, and higher pressure. A perfect storm of exhausting and frustration that's starting to spill into the public's holiday plans. If you're planning to fly home for Thanksgiving, this is the moment to pay attention. Experts are calling this the most unpredictable travel season in over a decade. And here's why. Thanksgiving week is expected to see more than 30 million travelers to take the skies, one of the busiest travel periods of the year, with staffing shortages in air traffic control and TSA. Even a small delay at one airport can snowball across the entire country. Major hubs like Atlanta, Chicago O'Hare, and Newark are already averaging 2 to 4 hour delays at peak hours. In places like Houston and Miami, passengers have reported TSA lines wrapping through terminals, with some missing flights entirely despite arriving hours early. This shutdown is creating more than just inconvenience. It's exposing how fragile our national transportation system can be. When politics stalls basic funding, planes can take off without controllers. Airports can run without screeners, and yet both are operating under unpaid labor conditions while politicians in Washington continue to argue over a budget. If you think these problems are going magically disappear by Thanksgiving, think again. Aviation officials warn that even if the shutdown ends tomorrow, the systems will still need weeks to recover, from backlogs to scheduling holes and overtime burnout. For travelers, that means simply advice: book early flights. Delays get worse later in the day. Arrive at least 3 hours early before departure, even for domestic flights. Avoid tight layovers and always check your flight statuses multiple times before leaving home. But beyond the travel tips, there's a bigger question here. One that touches every American family planning to gather for the holidays. Because this isn't just about missed flights, it's about what happens when government dysfunction starts reaching into everyday life, into our kitchens, our dinner tables, and now our ability to come together as families during the most important time of the year. Thanksgiving is supposed to be a season of connection and gratitude. Yet right now, millions are wondering if they'll even make it home to see their loved ones. Here's my discussion questions about this. Should essential services like air traffic control and TSA be permanently shielded from shutdowns, just like the military and emergency responders? You know what? Before I even continue to the next question, yes, that's a no-brainer. Am I correct? Revelations is a no-brainer.
No.
Right?
The military isn't shielded, then the TSA and air traffic controllers shouldn't be.
No, I said that they should.
Until the military is shielded, until the military gets shielded, the TSA, which I think shouldn't even be fucking a thing, then those shouldn't be shielded.
So they shouldn't be shielded. How does the political gridlock at the top trickle down to the stress, anger, and anxiety that everyday Americans feel at the airport?
I mean, so I'll be honest. You can go to the fastest airport you can have ever. You can be one of the best VIP, every package available to you. You can have your own private helicopter or jet. You're still gonna have to wait in a goddamn line. Like, take a look at Atlanta. You at least once a day, there are I think it was reported in 2020, there were like 15 to like 25 fucking delays within uh I think 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like it is literally the busiest airport in the world, to the point where it got so backed up, people just left and were canceling their shit in the airport. Yeah, it's that bad.
Wow. So,
Like it, that's part of the reason why there's like lounges and food courts and everything, is to de-stress people while they're waiting for their plane.
right.
I mean, not necessarily. It's also to get the airport extra money, but also to de-stress people from the waiting in line and for the fact that you're about to be cram-packed into a giant metal, pressurized tube with, fuel and engines, strapped to it.
Facts. Next question. Yeah. What responsibility do both parties share for ensuring Americans can travel safely and predictably during the holidays?
Uh, that beats me.
Let us know in the comments section. And most importantly, when families start missing holidays because of political stalemates, is that finally the breaking point where Washington has to listen? I don't know about that one. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know either.
Washington decides if they want to listen or not to the American people, ladies and gentlemen, and that is that. Simple as that. Uh, But now we're turning now to a high stakes military operation in the Caribbean that underscores how far the Trump administration is willing to go to in the fight against organized crime. According to Secretary Pete Hegseth, U.S. forces executed a lethal strike on another drug smuggling vessel on November 1st, 2025, killing 3 individuals aboard. Um, Officials described the strike as a part of an ongoing effort to disrupt narcotics trafficking along key maritime routes to the United States. Uh, the strike occurred in international waters of off the eastern Caribbean. The vessel, which authorities say was transporting narcotics, was identified through intelligence gathering and surveillance and was actively moving contraband towards U.S. markets. Hexet called those aboard narco terrorists, emphasizing the administration positioning that drug cartels now represent a national security threat, not just law enforcement problem. Officials report that no U.S. personnel were harmed during the operation. The action is part of a broader maritime interdiction campaign. In the past 3 months alone, the military has conducted more than a dozen strikes against suspected drug trafficking vessels in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific, resulting in dozens of deaths and significant disruptions to trafficking networks. Why does this matter? Escalation of military approach. Traditionally, drug interdiction was handled primarily through agencies like the DEA or Coast Guard. This strike represents a shift towards a military first strategy, using lethal force proactively to eliminate high value targets. Legal diplomatic questions. Striking in international waters raises issues about sovereignty and international law. While the U.S. claims authority under anti narcotics statutes and counterterrorist measures, these actions may attract scrutiny from neighboring countries and international legal bodies. Impact on cartels. By taking out vessels and crews, the administration sends a strong deterrent message to traffickers, yet it also risks escalation as cartels may retaliate or adjust tactics, potentially increasing violence in the region. Domestic political implications, framing drug cartels as national scrutiny, threat aligns with the broader messaging from the Trump administration, portraying a hardline, militarized approach to domestic issues that cross borders. Uh, a broader context, this strike fits into a series of similar operations. On September 15, 2025, another Caribbean vessel strike killed five suspected smugglers. U.S. Navy and Coast Guard resources have increasingly been used to intercept high speed vessels, often called Gulf fast boats, that transport large shipments of cocaine and other drugs. Analysts say that these strikes are effective at disrupting supply chains, but not at eliminating the root cause. Persist demands for illegal drugs in the United States. For Americans watching at home, the operation shows that the administration is willing to use military force abroad to safeguard domestic scrutiny. Domestic security. Yet it also raises questions: how far should the military go against non-state actors? What safeguards are in place to prevent mistakes or civilian casualties? And what are the long-term consequences for U.S. Latin America relations? Here's my ending discussion questions. Is it justified for the U.S. to conduct lethal strikes on drug smuggling vessels in international waters? Or does this blur the lines between law enforcement and military action? How might these operations affect U.S. relations with Caribbean and Latin American nations? Particularly if there are civilian casualties or misidentification. Does labeling cartel members as narcotic terrorists change the legal or ethical framework for using military force? Are these strikes effective in the long term at reducing drug flow into the U.S., or do they merely shift the problem elsewhere? How do you feel as a citizen knowing the military is actively targeting traffickers at sea? Does it make you feel safer, or does it raise concerns about escalation and overreach? You let us know in the comments section what you think. As always, Revelations, what do you think?
Can I take this one, Grant?
Yeah,
Revelations?
yeah, go ahead.
Can I take this one?
But I
So
want
to
to
start it
follow up
off,
after you.
Okay.
so to start it off, I'm going to start with I know it was a later question, but designating the cartels as a foreign terror organization let me rephrase this. Designating the cartels as foreign terror organizations most definitely changes the ROEs with them, 100%. It 100% gives the military full reign to do basically whatever the fuck they want. Um, excuse my language, I'm sorry, but this got me a little bit excited because this was something that I could have thought about. It when it's kind of like let's backtrack real quick with Al Qaeda, okay, and ISIS. Once both of those groups were designated foreign terror organizations, the military was sent in under presidential order to do whatever the fuck it took to get rid of, well, especially specifically Al Qaeda. I remember a lot more about Al Qaeda than I do ISIS. But they had, I mean, they had is like Islamic people spying on Bin Laden. Like, I know we've all seen the documentary movie about the raid. So once a group or a specific person is designated either a foreign terrorist or a foreign terror organization, the military is the rules of engagement kind of take a massive flip on things. And instead of it being a wait for them to do something, the military can literally take action whenever the fuck it pleases. If it sees something out the water that looks like a narco sub, they can damage that sub to an inoperable condition to where it's dead in the water, board it, and take the occupants of that vessel into custody and search that vessel at that point without a warrant, without them being designated foreign terror organization changes everything on the war on drugs. And I know, like right now here in Oklahoma where I live, everybody is fucking still on the even though it's been medicinally legalized, everybody's still on the fucking uppity up about marijuana and how it's still the devil and yada yada yada. But so these cartels are where a lot of the fentanyl's coming from, where a lot of your fentanyl production's at. So shutting down these cartels is probably the biggest step that has been taken by a world leader in the almost 30 years that I've been alive. I mean, a lot of our previous leaders have been too scared to try to take the government, but or to take it to like try to take on the cartels, but after these past few years of watching watching them destroy our country, we now have a leader that's willing to take the fight to them and basically wipe them out, which is what needs to happen. Because it's not only happening here in the United States, but it's happening in countries like Germany and the United Kingdom, and it's all over the world. This fentanyl epidemic is absolutely outrageous, and that needs to be stopped at the source, and that's the cartels. So yeah, I do feel like it's a good thing, and that it's making the world a better place and a safer place. That's my personal opinion. Anyways, I'm off my soapbox. Yeah, I'm excited with that one, Jay.
Good, good. That's why we do the show, dude. That's why we do the show.
As for mine, according when the whole humanitarian like boat thing with the supposed civilian thing they claimed was blown up, that it was innocent civilians. If it was innocent civilians in there,
They would have designated themselves over the radio as some sort of civilian.
either that or it is completely on the innocent. This is a bit controversial for me to say, but it is completely on their own fault for them getting blown up. Because according to maritime law, any boat over, I want to say, so I'm sure you've seen boats in marinas, any boat that size that is capable of going into international water has to fly the flag of their country. If you are not flying the flag of your country, you are automatically designated a pirate and will be met with lethal force.
Yeah, he's not wrong. That is 100% the truth. If there was not a designated designated country flag, like whether it be South America, whether it be Brazil, Venezuela, uh, Mexico, or Mexico. Yeah, I think I said it right. I think I
Just say Mexico.
Mexico, Mexico, uh,
The host.
Great Britain, Yemen. I mean,
Like and
even
it'll
us.
be
We
and it'll be even worse if you fly like your own flag that you made, because then you are actually recognized as a pirate.
yeah.
And if they capture you, you'll be tortured for information. Because they'll be like,
So,
"Oh, are you a pirate? If so, have you done such and such a thing?" And then they'll try you for, being a pirate. So you're better off just either getting blown up or actually
damn,
flying your
damn
country's
revelation.
flag.
Damn.
I'm just saying you don't want to be tried for being a pirate nowadays
No,
because of
I'm not gonna
Somalia.
argue that. Yeah, after the shit the Somalians pulled with everything.
Everything since like the 60s that they've been
Yeah,
doing.
yeah. There have been a lot of changes to maritime law involving piratism. Um,
I mean, when
so
you have to give cruise liner
there.
employees, you know, armed weapons training and armed weapons,
Hmm.
it's that's a big sign. So that's just a thing.
Yeah.
That was either an actual drug boat or civilians who didn't know uh, maritime law, which not a lot of people do. I'm just saying, but if you know they had a boat, they should have, and it was their own fault.
It's easy.
That's just my take on that.
A lot of us here in the states that own boats, we don't think about going past that border between national and international.
That's
Um,
just not that many people have a big enough boat to do so or the money to do it.
well, that's one thing, yes, but a lot of us live or more interior states away from the coasts.
Coastal states
Um,
for the win.
so we don't. I mean, there's still maritime law on the on any body of water,
Oh yeah, even on
but a
lakes.
lake is different from the open ocean.
You still have to
So
fly the flag. Coast Guard will still arrest you for it.
no, I've never seen anybody get arrested on a lake for
Oh,
not flying
Coast
a
Guard,
flag.
yeah, they will.
I've never seen anybody get
Coast Guard
arrested.
patrols lakes too.
I've never seen Coast Guard on a single fucking lake here in the state of
Oh
Oklahoma.
yeah, all the Great Lakes, Coast Guard
Oh,
patrols them.
that's the Great fucking Lakes, Grant. That's the Great Lakes. Those are bodies of water that international shipping vessels travel through.
It's same thing, maritime law.
Okay, those are different. Those are mini oceans, basically. Those are big enough to be considered mini fucking oceans. Okay, I'm talking physical lakes, Lake Keystone, Lake what's another one? I'm trying to think of one like down in like the Carolinas and Tennessee area. Like, okay, whoever's playing with the soundboard making farting noises, stop. Jay,
There's only three of
you,
us in here.
you fucking jackass. Anyway, um, so on a non-Great Lake, okay, let me put it that way. Um, you don't have to like. There's no such thing as an identifying flag because if you're on that lake, you've got to. If not only do you have to have not only well not okay. So almost every vessel has to have some sort of like tag, like a license plate, but it's not a license plate. It doesn't have like a plate number. It just has the year and whatnot. In on the internal on the lakes that are more internal, non-Great Lake area, you don't really have to fly a flag, but there are still certain laws, like you can't drink.
You there? We lose you? Hello? You guys there? Revelations, you there? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we lost them. Revelations, you there? Hello? Ladies and gentlemen, we still live? Ladies and gentlemen, I think we lost Revelations and our good friend Dabdon. I can't hear you guys. Are you guys there? Well, ladies and gentlemen, moving on then, I think we lost our good friends Revelation and Dabdon. I recommend you guys to leave and come back in. Everything is good over here. Anyways, real quick on that note that our good friend Revelations was talking about, about the drugs. So real talk, drugs, they're not a game. They might look fun or maybe. Oh.
Hey, what just happened? Why did Docket Team kick me?
No, I didn't. Docket Team didn't kick you. I don't know what happened. I was like, "Yo, you guys there?" Nobody was answering. Docket Team. That's all you can do.
So I found out what it was. So
I was doing an ad real quick when you guys came in.
Yeah. So found out what it was. So it varies from state to state, the legality, depending on how it is. Flying a flag on your a boat on the lake. And it is a widely accepted maritime law. So if you are not flying a flag on your boat at a dock, like where you dock your boat, and when you go to sail out, depending on who the dock master is at the time, if you do not have the flag on the back of your boat, they may or may not let you out.
That's interesting.
These are for like port docks, correct? Not like
port and kind of like if it's not private, basically. If it's owned by city, towns, stuff like that, there is always a port master.
Oh.
And depending on if
be honest, here, one of the biggest lakes here in the state is Lake Keystone. The one boat ramp we always use, I've never seen a dock master. I've never seen anybody there.
Yeah, here we have a fairly big one because it goes into Lake Erie, and there's a dock master. There's a couple of them, and depending on who it is, they depend. Like you have to have at 8 a.m. you have to put your flag up. At 8 p.m. you have to take your flag down. That is how it is in the U.S. all across all 50 states. That is actually the law.
I don't know.
And when you're in another country, you have to put your flag on the front of the boat, and in the back, or their flag in the front of the boat, your flag in the back. Anyways, I think we spent enough time on that one.
We did. And going back about the drugs, so real talk, drugs, they're not a game.
Are
They
bad,
might look
kids.
fun, or even, or maybe everyone's doing it. But trust me, the cost ain't worth it. Health, relationships, your future, gone in a blink. You're stronger than that moment of temptation. Make moves that lift you up, not tear you down. And while you're at it, don't be a Somali pirate either. Stealing, risking everything, getting caught up in a drama you don't need, or getting bombed. If you or someone you know is struggling, reach out. Call 988 or find your local support. Stay smart, stay safe, stay unbound.
Drugs are bad, okay?
Moving on now. We're turning to a story that could have ended in tragedy, but didn't. The FBI announced it foiled a potential terrorist attack in the Detroit suburbs planned for a Halloween weekend over the weekend. According to the Bureau, several suspects were arrested in Dearborn and Inkster, Michigan, where investigators say the group was plotting violence tied to the Halloween holiday. Officials have emphasized that the plot was disrupted before any public threat materialized. Here's what we know so far. The suspect, aged 16 to 20, allegedly purchased rifles, ammunition, and tactical gear. They also conducted practice sessions at shooting ranges in the months leading up to Halloween. Investigators say the plot was inspired by Islamic State-style extremists, and that the suspect communicated via encrypted messaging platforms. Authorities used both surveillance and community tips to intervene, stressing that public safety was never at immediate risk. While the arrests are also a relief, local defense attorneys have already pushed back, claiming the suspect plans were still in early stages and not fully operational. Why does this matter? This case underscores how youth radicalization and online extremists are reaching suburban neighborhoods, not just major cities or international hot zones. The use of a symbolic date Halloween shows how extremists may try to exploit public holidays and mass gatherings for maximum impact. Also highlights the coordination between federal and local law enforcement, which was essential in preventing harm. For everyday Americans, the takeaway is twofold. Law enforcement vigilance can prevent attacks before they occur. Communities need to remain aware of online radicalization and unusual behaviors, particularly among young people, before threats escalate. Discussion questions to the matter: how should families, schools, and communities monitor signs of radicalization among teens without infringing on privacy or civil liberties? Did the FBI handle the public messaging correctly by announcing a foiled attack so early, or could this have caused unnecessary panic? Should public holidays and mass gatherings now have heightened security measures as standard precaution? And what does this case teach us about the evolving nature of homegrown extremists in suburban America? And finally, how do we balance public awareness with reassurance, letting people know threats exist, but also that authorities are acting? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. And what do you guys think?
So this kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier with terror and foreign terror organizations and whatnot. It's not so much a the FBI constantly knows who has extremist views. They're constantly watching those people. They're constantly watching what they do.
I mean, they're watching us
And
right
as
now
soon
here
as-
on Unbound. What's going on, everybody?
They're watching us. They're constantly watching. But as soon as they see something like a massive purchase at a fucking gun store, that's a red flag.
Yeah, fuck you, ATF.
So, not all. Well, it's to a point, yes, but not always. We're not gonna go full on dissing the ATF because
I will
there
always
is-
diss the ATF.
I mean, the ATF is
I've
fucking
cried
stupid.
1,000
Yes.
times, I'm gonna cry some more.
The ATF should only exist as a goddamn convenience store.
Shots
Um,
fired.
Like, I'm not gonna say the ATF is a good thing, but the ATF does do their job sometimes, and that sometimes is a very rare occurrence. Now, I don't even know how to say this. Basically, even when we don't see red flags, the government sees shit that we don't see. So they constantly have a 20 on what the fuck is going on.
Oh yeah, they know. Like I said, they already know
And
about this
so-
program.
Jay, come on, we've already had this discussion. That video of President Trump talking up the fucking.
I don't know what
president.
That's not what I'm talking about. That's not, I said they already know because of this program. Oh my God!
The cream of the crop!
This is the
cream of the crop!
forevermore.
The cream of the crop!
Yeah. Go ahead.
I just had to talk a little bit of shit. Anyway, so yes.
Can you
Th-
shut
does
the fuck up?
Fuck you. Does the government need to, or does the citizenship need to worry about things a little bit? I'd be a little concerned about. I constantly question who my neighbor is. Like, but at the same time, I'm not gonna sit here and but things play out for a reason. We mind our business, but we always question. We always question, if that makes sense. So basically, long story short, keep an eye on your neighbor, but don't keep too close of an eye on him. Is my outlook on that. Because you never know what they could be planning to do to your family.
You what?
Why are you playing with the soundboard on stream?
I'm sorry. And the bottom line, people, preventing extremism requires a community-focused, supportive approach for teens, while public messaging should be transparent but measured, and security protocols should be risk-based, not fear-based, ladies and gentlemen. Moving along now, we pivot to a story.
I disagree with you on that one, Jay. There needs to be a little bit of fear installed into these.
Well,
some of
did
these-
I not put fear in there? Docket team. Blame it on the docket. We're going to get T-shirts made. We're going to get T-shirts made.
Listen, if you base everything on fear, then people start making misguided judgment
Correct.
calls, and then everything turns into post 9/11, where fucking every single Muslim was labeled a terrorist, yada yada yada.
Get
No.
Marines!
Shit does no. You don't need fucking dabble in shit in fear.
You
Cocaine is a hell of a
notice
drug.
how I didn't say that you need to, that it needs to be solely on fear. There needs to be at least a knowledge that the United States of America isn't fucking around anymore.
I don't think that the U.S. government hasn't been fucking around anymore. I think they've been fucking around. So I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I mean, considering the fact that the largest super carrier in the world is sitting in the Caribbean with a whole entire battle group, kind of shows that we're not fucking around.
That I'm aware of. Then yes, that's what I'm saying.
Now,
But
ladies and okay, we're gonna
I'm
keep
talking-
continuing about this.
I'm talking about the home defense. Is another is like yeah, we're not afraid to, we're not like yeah, we're not fucking around with on the offensive side. But we're also not fucking around here at the home front either.
We're not, but it
So
in order to say that, it would rustle some people's jimmies way too much for this show.
well,
We
that's
get
fair.
veterans and everything coming in looking at this.
No, I mean, it would rustle some people's jimmies on the show because, well, I like the 1,002 subscribers, but there's a 3-letter word that I don't want to mention on the show that would rustle too many people's jimmies.
They're not ready for Revelations. We'll bring it out later on. Now, on that note, we are going to pivot to a story that has horrified families, legal experts, and communities across Colorado. It's about the shocking discovery of nearly 190 decaying bodies at the Return to Nature funeral home in Penrose, Colorado, and the legal fallout following it. Carrie and John Halford, the married owners of the funeral home, were accused of storing corpses in unsanitary, bug-infested conditions between 2019 and 2023. Investigators say
What the fuck?
Investigators say some bodies were left unrefrigerated for years, while families were misled into believing their loved ones had been cremated. The Halfords also allegedly ran a fraudulent business operation, misappropriating nearly $900,000 in COVID-19 relief funds and charging families for cremations that never occurred. Victims described receiving fake ashes and being told the bodies had been properly handled. On Monday, November 3rd, State District Judge Eric Bentley rejected the plea agreement that would have given Carrie Halford 20 years in state prison. The judge deemed the sentence too lenient given the scale of the harm. The number of victims and the level of deception involved. Following this decision, Carrie Halford withdrew her guilty plea. John Halford had previously done so. Both are now scheduled for a jury trial in 2026, where families will likely testify in detail about the emotional and psychological trauma caused by their actions. The fallout from this case extends far beyond the Halfords themselves. Betrayal of trust. The funeral homes hold a sacred place in society, tasked with preserving dignity in death. Families paid for services in good faith, only to discover horrific mishandling of loved ones remains. One victim described finding her mother's body lying in maggots, a moment that shocked even seasoned investigators. Regulatory failure. Colorado funeral home oversight has historically been weak, with infrequent inspections and limited accountability. This scandal has sparked statewide calls for reform, including tighter licensing requirements, mandatory inspections, and improved reporting mechanisms. legal precedent, it's uncommon for a judge to reject a plea deal at this level. Judge Bentley explicitly noted the psychological trauma inflicted on 191 families and the message sent to the wider industry, egregious violations of public trust will not be lightly executed. Lightly excused. Sorry. Economic and civil consequences. The civil case resulted in 950 million judgment. Yeah, 950 million judgment against the Halfords. While the family may never collect that full amount, it represents both a symbolic and moral victory, highlighting the severity of the offenses. Offenses. Broader social questions beyond individual victims, this case raises societal questions. How can we trust institutions responsible for death care? How do we prevent fraud and abuse in industries that hold intimate emotional significance for communities? Bodies were reportedly stored up. Bodies were reportedly stored up to 4 years, some decomposing in open air, others in makeshift refrigeration units that failed to function. Investigators uncovered fake cremation certificates and billing documents designed to conceal the crime from families and regulators. Both federal and state authorities are investigating the Halford's financial dealings, focusing on pandemic relief funds misappropriated from the Small Business Administration, the SBA. Judge Bentley's decision emphasized proportional justice. He considered the sheer number of victims, 191 confirmed corpses, intentional deception used to profit from grieving families, the psychological and emotional damage inflicted, which is ongoing. The judge suggested that jury trial would better reflect the gravity of the offenses, potentially resulting in a longer sentence than 15 to 20 years originally proposed. So here's my discussion questions. Should sentencing in cases involving abuse of human remains be significantly harsher than in other fraud or theft cases? Why or why not? I think so. I think they should be implicated like murder. What do you guys think?
All I'm gonna say is if I received fucking someone else's ashes, I'd be the one having to be put in jail.
Yeah. Um. That's just wrong.
That is super wrong. It'll be a movie. It'll be on Hallmark or something. Um,
Fucking Hallmark.
what regulatory reform should be implemented immediately to prevent similar abuses in funeral homes nationwide? You know, that's another thing. Funeral homes are the number one places that a lot of people end up dying because of malnourishment or people getting abused and all that shit. Um,
I think you're thinking nursing homes, not funeral homes.
yeah, you know, nursing homes also go through the same shit. A lot of let's keep it under wraps and nobody will know that we killed this old lady or old man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How can families
I
verify?
I
Go ahead.
also
Go ahead.
I also want to know what the fuck a funeral home needs with COVID-19 money.
Find out tomorrow. I mean, find out Wednesday's episode.
Same Unbound channel, same
Same.
Unbound time.
Yeah.
Ish.
I mean, today we made it on time, ladies and gentlemen. How can families verify that funeral services are legitimate and ethical in the current regulatory framework? What do you guys think?
You'd probably have to just go through an independent fucking person, because obviously the fucking state board didn't do it correctly
Right.
and on time. And it said in the article they weren't very good at it.
Does the rejection of the plea deal signal a broader trend towards accountability in industries that operate largely without public oversight?
Well, I mean, the judge obviously rejected the plea deal, but now those stupid bastards are going for the, oh, well, we were fucking crazy. That's why we didn't know what we were doing.
Right?
No, you dumb bastards. You knew exactly what you were doing. Don't
Facts.
use that fucking, oh, well, I'm insane, so I did this. No, you stupid bitch. Chances are, like, you had this business running for fucking years before you even did that shit for what? It said, what, 2019 to 2023?
Yeah,
That's 4-ish years.
almost 5. Yeah.
So yeah, that's not a oopsie, I did it, for a couple months. No, that's a sizable amount of time you dumb bastards were doing it.
Facts.
Like, that's not insane. That's, you planned this shit and carried it out after running the business for a while normally. Like, get the fuck out of here. Nobody's gonna believe your shit
Right.
after you get psych eval by the court.
And we'll keep you up with that story for sure, and we'll let you know what the outcome will be. But on a personal level, how do you process a case like this, one that attacks a basic social trust we often take for granted? And I think you already said it. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think you already said it, that if you received somebody else's ashes or not the right ashes, yeah,
Bro, they're gonna have to fucking bring in, like jury members from a whole ass other state. Like, everyone in that state, like, probably hates them. Like, it's gonna be hard finding a, like, non-biased jury.
facts. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you let us know in the comments section what you think. In now moving into a frightening turn of events at a family festival in Louisiana, two young girls were seriously injured after being thrown from a Ferris wheel ride. An incident that has left the community and authorities scrambling to determine how something so preventable could happen. Uh, the incident happened on Saturday, November 1st, around noon at the Harvest Festival on Falls River in New Roads, Louisiana. Two girls, both under 13, were ejected from Ferris wheel cart while riding with friends and family. Witnesses described the cart tilting sharply as if caught on wires or misaligned in the mechanism before the girls fell 25 feet to the ground. Emergency crews responded immediately. One girl was airlifted to a hospital in Baton Rouge, while the other received treatment locally. Reports indicate one girl suffered a possible brain bleed, while the other sustained broken bones. Both girls remain hospitalized, though officials say their conditions are stable. Eyewitnesses describe a terrifying scene. One festival goer said, "I heard a loud boom, and suddenly the girls were falling. It was chaos." Another reported that the ride had appeared unstable even the previous evening, with unusual sounds and carts that did not swing properly. The Louisiana Office of State Fire Marshal opened an investigation into the Ferris wheel, its maintenance, and operators' practices. Officials closed the ride along with a nearby slide, while other festival rides were reopened after safety inspection. The mechanical condition of the Ferris wheel, including structural integrity and potential operator error. Oh, sorry. So this is what the authorities are reviewing: the mechanical condition of the Ferris wheel, including structural integrity and potential operator error, compliance with safety inspections and certifications required for temporary festival rides, whether any pre-incident warning or observed malfunctions were ignored, which we all know that happens all the time, because I went to a fair over the summer, and some of that stuff was sketchy, and they weren't even paying attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
While large theme parks have rigorous ongoing inspections, temporary carnival rides at local festivals often receive minimal oversight. This incident highlights the vulnerability of mobile rides, especially when children are involved. The social impacts is equally significant. Families attended the Harvest Festival expecting a safe environment for their children. Instead, they faced a traumatic event that could have been fatal. The incident underscores the critical importance of strict safety standards, frequent inspections, and trained operators, regardless of the size or location of the event. Some key details here. The location again was in Harvest Festival, New Roads, Louisiana, on Falls River. The date was November 1st at noon of the accident. The fall was estimated to be 20 to 25 feet. One girl with possible brain bleed, one with broken bones, and both hospitalized. Ride status, Ferris wheel, and nearby slide remain closed pending investigation. Other rides reopen after inspection. My discussion questions about this. Should temporary festival rides follow the same safety and inspection standards as permanent amusement parks? Yes. Yes, they should.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
a no
100%.
fucking brainer.
It's the same reason why I don't go to my fucking local county fair, because
Yeah, that's the
I'm
one I
like,
was talking
oh,
about that was kind of sketchy over the summer watching my kids.
because
get
I'm
on
like,
there.
because I'm like, oh, well, fucking, like, as soon as you said temporary, I'm like, oh, fuck, that's exactly why they fucking fell. It's goddamn temporary.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, because I'm wondering, oh, well, is this thing temporary or is it a permanent? Because if it's permanent, well, then maybe something just went wrong with the ride. Maybe there wasn't, something happened with the weather and fucked up one of the parts or something. But then you said temporary, and I'm like, oh, that's why it was fucking cooked from the beginning.
I mean, 100%. I mean, the fact that they try to have different standards for different things is fucking ridiculous. Everything should be held to the same standard. It should all standard practices and procedures, maintenance procedures, operating procedures. Everything should be uniform across the board.
Yeah, and what's even dumber is for things like a county fair, all they do is take them down, go to a designated location for storage that is literally, I think, where the main area of the county is, and then take them out once it comes time for around the county fair. They go to where the county fair usually is, which is usually the second most populated location in the damn county. They set it up, and then boom, that's what they do. So it's not like they move it around the fucking state. It's like, so why is it that hard when you could literally just leave the bigger rides up, like the Ferris wheel, just leave it there and permanently check on it the
Right.
whole year.
Right.
It's simple.
Yeah, well, anyway, that's another story. That's a story time for next time. Let's go to the next question. How can ride operators, festivals, organizers, and regulators work together to prevent incidents like this? Like we said, go back
Oh, I don't know.
to go
Better
go
fucking
yeah, go back to better
better,
inspections and better training.
yeah, better
And
training and learn how to fucking cooperate. Because I
yeah,
swear to God, it'll be like the people that work on them will know what they're doing, but then you have but then the people that are usually just being the people that are like, oh well, gotta flip on a switch, blah 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 blah. They're just people that are they're gaining some money for because their kids from college or high school, and they don't give
But
two shits.
a lot of your a lot of your festival and carnival workers are actually just looking to make a quick, easy buck.
Yeah, I mean they don't even pay
Yeah,
attention. Usually they're on their phones or have their
yeah, that's
earbuds
what I'm saying.
in.
Because
You know, they're not really
most of
paying
them
attention.
are, yeah, most of them are just like older high school or college kids.
Or foreigners.
Because it's normally during the summer
Or drug
that
dealers.
are just getting money. Because that's all they got to do is stand around, and be like, you're this tall. Congratulations, go in. All right, everyone's strapped in. Flick. That's all they got to do. Occasionally look out the side of their eye, make it look like they're doing something. It's done. Okay, everyone out. Unflick.
Now, that's a perfect segue to the next question. If warning signs are noticed before a ride incident, who holds responsibility? Operators, inspectors, or even festival goers? The whole freaking
Operators.
festival people, not the people that are there for the festival. I'm talking about the operator, the inspector, the person that's running the whole damn festival. Those are the people that should be responsible for that incident.
Definitely, yeah. It's not like the fucking. It's not like those fucking. It's not like that family hopped on and went. You know what? I want my 2 daughters to fucking fall 25 feet off of a Ferris wheel and have to be, helicoptered to a hospital in Baton Rouge.
What's crazy to me, right? What's crazy to me is that why would we say festival goers? I mean, they already know, right? We all know when we go to Six Flags or when we go to Hershey Park or wherever you guys go, which I think this is a perfect segue to go into the theme park thing, talking about that.
Yeah, it is.
Uh,
Let me already bring that up.
Before I forget, oh my God, where was I going with that? The theme park thing. When we all go to those things, we all know that we sign a waiver saying, "Hey, anything can happen." Yes, anything can happen because accidents happen. We all know that when we go to an amusement park or to a midway ride festival. But at the same time, this is why we have the operators. That's why we have the inspectors, and that's why and those are not just the only people. There's people there that know what the heck is going on with those machines. All right, there's knowledge, there's training.
Hey, fellas, I'll be right back. I'm walking down to the gas station. Grab me a drink.
A good friend here is gonna take a little powwow while he goes down to the gas station. How can communities restore public trust in local festivals after such incidents? Well, you don't go for a little bit, guys. You don't go for a little bit, and that's it. You don't go for a little bit. When I mean a little bit, if it takes a year or two, take a break on amusement parks. Maybe you won't be, I'm sorry for saying it like that, right? But maybe you won't be a statistic of that problem. You went out with your
Either that or
family
you
on
just-
a family trip to Niagara Falls or Florida or Texas to
Either
go
that or you
see
just,
go to Corpus Christi and say hello to Selena. I don't know.
Either that or you just go for the food.
Yeah, or go to the food. That's pretty much it. Enjoy the
That's
view.
what I
Enjoy
went
everybody
for a long
having
time.
a good time, and just go for the food, ladies and gentlemen. Would mandatory safety features like seatbelts or enclosed cabins on Ferris wheels significantly reduce risk or introduce other hazards? Putting seatbelts on
Yes,
everything
they
doesn't
include-
really help with everything.
Yeah, but the seatbelts and enclosed cabin thing definitely would help.
I mean, I've been in
Like-
those, and they kind of look like you're gonna be stuck in there even if you fall down on it.
True,
Yeah.
but let's be honest.
It's a death trap.
If it's an open thing and it falls, no seatbelt, congratulations. Guess what's gonna happen? You go first, land, and let's say you somehow made it to the ground first, right? Guess what falls on top of you if you're still alive?
Oh
The
yeah,
Ferris wheel
the
seat.
Ferris wheel. Yeah, the Ferris wheel. You think you
Now,
made it, and you look
If
back.
there was, yeah. Now, let's say there's seatbelts and it's enclosed. You're gonna fall with it. sure, it's gonna hurt a lot. You might end up with a couple broken bones, but you're gonna be alive. And okay, yeah, you're trapped in it, but guess what? The firefighters are gonna be called for it, and they're gonna get you out.
Right.
So
Right.
you won't be a fucking giant pancake on the ground. You're just gonna have to go to the hospital for a couple days and heal from broken bones and never go back to that, place again.
Or
And
ever
you
get
could
on a
probably
ride
also
again.
sue them.
And sue the hell out of them for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let us know in the comment section what you think of the article and what you think of the questions, and let us know your answers. We always go back and check everything, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again for tuning in tonight. And on that note, we're gonna move over to more of amusement park issues. Go ahead, Revelations. What you got for us tonight?
So, as we all have probably heard in our lifetime of Six Flags, Six Flags America has officially closed after 50 years of operation. The park first operated as a drive-through safari park, opening in 1974. Six Flags America Amusement Park and Hurricane Harbor Water Park in Bowie, Maryland are officially closed for good. The company opened the park's gates one last time on Sunday, November 2nd. The property first opened in 1974 as a drive-through safari park known as the Wildlife Preserve. After more than 50 years of operation on the East Coast, Six Flags has officially closed its gates forever. They tweeted out, "Thank you, Six Flags America fans, for 50 years of family fun. We will always cherish the memories made together." Six Flags America, alongside Hurricane Harbor Water Park, operated more than 100 rides, shows, slides, and roller coasters. The move to close the park is part of the company's ongoing efforts to restructure and address ongoing debt.
Okay.
So yeah, when I saw that, I was like, oh, wow. I did not expect to wake up and see that.
End of an era. End of a
Yeah,
era.
because you grew up and you're just like, oh well. I wonder if it's either you went to Disney, Six Flags, or Universal. Like those were the three that you got to choose from.
Yes.
And now it's just Disney or Universal, which, let's all be honest, nowadays you want to go to Universal because Disney is overpriced and not that good.
Correct. I agree with
agree.
you on that. I agree with you on that.
Disney's trash.
Let me see what I got over here before you continue on that. Give me one moment. Oh wow. Okay. I only have two left. So let's take this moment real quick, even though we will be re-mentioning it here after 4 more segments, I'm guessing, right? You got 2 more?
Me?
Yeah, yeah. How many you
I
got?
have one more.
You got, oh wow, okay. Little quick little quick ad moment, ladies and gentlemen. This episode, episode 21, is brought to you in part by our good friends from the Decayville. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like my audio is not going through there. That it's the docket's team's fault. Typical. But don't you worry, we're gonna get it back up here. The sponsor again is brought to you by the Kville Hotel and Tavern. They got some great food, great atmosphere, great drinks, and Seth and Jamie will treat you with care. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Trying to get it up. I'm trying to get it up. No pun intended.
Da-dum.
Heck yeah. All right, everybody. The Kville Hotel and Tavern, they're open from Wednesday to Sunday. Wednesday 4 to 9, Thursday 4 to 9, Friday 4 to 10, Saturday 12 to 10, Sunday 12 to 8. They're located in 2647 Heidelberg Avenue, Kleinfeltersville, Pennsylvania. Phone number 717-949-8413. And also, let's not forget our other good sponsor of ours, Atlas Epoxy Flooring. Good friend of ours, Brad Kelly, just recently opened a great big business doing epoxy floors. Please contact Brad on 203-496-6386, or you can also contact him through email at brad.kelly@atlasepoxyfloors.com. Good friend of ours, Brad Kelly. Here's another ad for Atlas Epoxy. The floors that they work on are garages, basements, patios, lobbies, countertops. Again, you can also visit them at a website called Atlas Epoxy Flooring or atlasepoxyfloors.com. Again, it's www.atlasepoxyfloors.com. He's located in Milford, Connecticut. He can travel anywhere you would like, from all the way to west all the way from to Ohio, all the way down to Florida, all the east to the mid-east, the whole area. Maybe you can even take a trip to a good friend Dab down in Oklahoma. Maybe Dab needs his nice garage done with some Atlas Epoxy floors, looking like your marbles. Looking like those marbles that you played when you were a kid. You can get that color too. So make sure to visit our good friend Bradford Kelly if you need your floors done, ladies and gentlemen. Also, I think we also have one more sponsor, if I'm not mistaken here. More sponsor here. I am on a show called Producer Mike Presents The Movement. Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, guys. Make sure to tune in and check on the show. We go through a lot of worldwide cameras. We talk about travel. We talk about things that are happening in Vegas. A lot of things that we talk about, so make sure that you tune in. This show is not about politics or news like this one. It's completely a different gig, more of a hangout and in discussion about other things beside political or news. So make sure to tune in. A great friend of ours, Producer Mike, running the gig. Thanks again to Producer Mike. All right. Let's see here. Where were we, guys? Where were we? Go ahead, Revelations, on your next segment, and never forget our movement show Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Success.
Okay. This time we have a intentional bombing. A intentional explosion at the Harvard Medical Campus under investigation. Responding officer said they saw two individuals fleeing the Goldenson building in Boston early Saturday morning. No one was injured. Police are investigating an intentional explosion at the Harvard University Medical Building early Saturday morning. A fire alarm at the Goldenson Building, part of Harvard's medical campus in Boston, went off at 2:48 a.m. A Harvard University Police Department officer who responded to the call saw two unidentifiable individuals fleeing from the building, Harvard police said in a statement. Um, the explosion occurred on the fourth floor of the building. The explosion appeared to be intentional, according to an initial assessment by the Boston Fire Department's arson unit. The Boston Police Department also responded and conducted a sweep of the building for any additional devices, but none were found. The university released photos on Saturday evening of the two individuals captured on CCTV footage. One was depicted wearing a balaclava, the other wearing a hoodie with the hood raised and a face covering. The university asked for the public's help in identifying the individuals. The explosion is under investigation by Harvard University Police Department along with local, state, and federal law enforcement partners. The FBI is at the scene aiding investigation efforts. And that is it for that one.
I'm gonna say this. Good luck. I mean, I don't understand how you're gonna expect the public to be able to figure out. I mean, who a motherfucker is wearing a balaclava and a face mask.
Yeah, when one dude is just wearing like his whole like I saw the picture. It was black balaclava, black shoes, black pants, and a black hoodie with the hood raised over it, and the other dude was literally the same thing, but no balaclava. So
Like, unless they can give off any key identifying features, it's gonna be damn near impossible.
yeah,
Now, here's my gut feeling on this. This is just the start of something bigger. They wanted to see how big of a target they could hit right off the bat and get away with. So what did they go after? They went after one of the most popular, one of the most highly sought after schools in the country, Harvard.
and their medical,
Yeah, it's
like building at that.
the medical building of all that. Like that should be a clue of either motive or intent, or even both. And
Did I lose you guys again?
No,
no, I'm here.
Oh
I
my God.
just had a fucking massive brain fart. Like, I mean, massive brain fart.
all I know is the fact that like the FBI immediately was notified clearly means that whatever was in that medical, building, and the fact that they specifically went to the fourth floor
Yeah.
obviously means something that they knew. So it obvious either it was people from inside the building that were the people that did it, or somebody from inside that building gave them the info, like, because shit like that, you
Or
just don't go all the way to the fourth floor and
or
like
or it is two individuals that were recently flunked out of Harvard. Possibly. I mean that's reaching for straws, but that is always a possibility. It could be a revenge vendetta for one. specifically targeting Harvard, or there could be a deeper reason and a deeper intent behind it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If it was just if it was just people who flunked out of Harvard, they would just target something on Harvard. They wouldn't specifically target one floor in a medical building.
Maybe they flunked out of the medical study at Harvard.
Yeah, but to target one floor of it, there's clearly something important on that floor. And then for the feds to be like, "Hey, yo, what's up, boys?" Like, feds don't normally get involved unless something juicy shows up later on. For them to show up immediately is something pretty bad.
I can agree with that.
Well, guys, moving on. Moving on. Where was I here? Oh, yeah, we talked about that. Man, docket team, what the heck? The story is both tragic and sorry about that, deeply disturbing, highlighting a case where the very person entrusted with a child's safety became the predator of an unspeakable crime. On August 14, 2025, a 7-month-old Emmanuel Harrow was reportedly abducted in a parking lot of a sporting goods store in Yacupa, California. His mother, Rebecca Harrow, told authorities that an unknown man had attacked her and taken the infant while she was attended to the car. The report triggered a full-scale search, with authorities treating it as a kidnapping. However, investigators soon noticed inconsistencies, surveillance footage, witness statements, and evidence. And evidence from the scene indicated that the story did not match the facts. The investigation quickly shifted focus from a missing child case to homicide. By August 22nd, 2025, both parents, Jake Harrow and Rebecca Harrow, were arrested at their home in Cabazon, California. Authorities revealed that Emmanuel had died prior to the alleged abduction and that the kidnapping story had been fabricated. As of the sentencing, Emmanuel's body had not been recovered. The case shocked the community, not only because of the heinous crime, but also because Jake Harrow had a history of child abuse. In 2018, he was convicted of child abuse against his infant daughter, who sustained severe injuries and is now permanently disabled. Despite this, Jake had been placed on probation rather than serving a full sentence, a decision critics later tied to Emmanuel's death. Um, in guilty plea and sentencing in October 2025, Jake Harrow pleaded guilty, second-degree murder, filing a false police report, assaulting on a child under 8. Um, on November 3rd, 2025, Judge Gary Polk sentenced him to 25 years to life for the murder, plus approximately 6 years and 8 months for other charges, bringing the total minimum sentence to around 30 years. Rebecca Harrow pleaded not guilty and is awaiting trial, with court proceedings scheduled to continue into 2026. Um, Prosecutors describe Emmanuel as particularly vulnerable due to his age and dependency. The abuse was intentional and ongoing, with fabricated kidnapping designed to cover up the crime. This case raises questions about effectiveness of prior child abuse convictions, law enforcement protocols, and the mechanisms designed to protect infants and toddlers. The public trust in missing child reports and child welfare systems has been shaken by this case, emphasizing the importance of stricter oversight. Um, wow. My ending discussion questions to this is, should parents with prior child abuse conviction face stricter supervision or loss of custody? In my opinion, they shouldn't even get supervision. They should get loss of custody, and that's it.
They should no, that's not it. I mean, in my opinion, the 25 to life isn't enough.
Oh, I mean, it isn't enough. No, no, it isn't enough. You know, and I know that this should be a death penalty in itself.
Mhm.
But that's just me. How can law enforcement?
This is
Go ahead.
it's not so much a problem with law enforcement as it is the judicial system.
Correct. Is the judicial system? It's what
It
it is.
has nothing to do with law enforcement. Law enforcement can't. uh, Yes, law enforcement can enforce laws and punish via arresting you, but they can't sit there and. But law enforcement can't be like, "Oh, you killed a kid. Guess what? I'm a fuck you. I'm a fucking kill you." Like, and
Yeah.
that's what's wrong with the judicial system these days. Is you have people like this young man that just killed his 8-month-old fucking son and is facing 30 fucking years in prison instead of a bullet to the fucking skull.
My friend, you and I both know that once he gets there and everybody finds out what he did, he ain't gonna make it long.
No, I'm 100% with you on that, Mr. Morales. But he shouldn't even be able to make it to the prison gates.
You see, because
Like,
that's him getting killed is too easy.
It's
That's
too easy. That's what it is too. You know.
because him having 30 years of being somebody's bitch, or just constantly being paraded around as the dude who killed a kid is the second one that's like, oh, I'd say 2 years before he offs himself. The former one, the dude who owns him, he ain't gonna let shit happen to him. So that's 30 years of literally just being his bitch.
mhm.
So
I mean, so like
you know it's torture in his own right.
Yeah, in a way he's facing fair punishment, but at the same time it's not fair punishment. He killed a harmless, innocent, defenseless child.
I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm also saying he should
At that point,
like get tortured.
I mean, torture doesn't mean no satisfaction. I want to watch the motherfucker bleed.
Well, I mean, like I said,
I was gonna say this portion of the broadcast is brought to you by the our favorite lube of all.
because then
Don't even Jay. Don't even
Yeah.
Jay. Don't even
then-
Jay.
SC Johnson, a family company.
because then he goes out and it's painless. Like if you want to watch him bleed, torture would be the easiest method. Torture him until he dies.
Or just filling full of holes that are non lethal. That are non fatal.
Then he still stays alive.
Exactly. Then he bleeds out a very
Why can't we just
excruciating
cut
death.
off his penis and feed it to him? And he has to eat it all. How
Okay.
about that?
Okay,
Okay,
so,
we'll see.
so that's what we do for predators. For
We'll see,
child
because
fuckers.
here's what you
He's
do.
not a
You
child
do
fucker. He's a
you see,
child
'cause-
killer.
you see, because here's what
Do it
you just do
anyway.
what you just do what the Vietnamese used to do to prisoners in during the Vietnam War. From what I've heard, I don't know how true this is. They would capture them, tie them up on like a wall, rip all their clothes off, right? So they were butt ass naked, and then they would parade half naked women around, right? And so the dude would get hard, and then you know one of them would just come around with a fucking sword and no more cock and balls, and just sit there. You're being still tied up to this wall, bleeding to death from where your cock was. That would solve the issue, wouldn't it? Because that's 10 minutes you got to sit there. Blood coming out of your, dick. Well, what used to be where your dick was. And you
Jeez.
can't do anything from it. I think that would be
SC
a
Johnson, a family
solution.
company.
Oh my god.
Anyways, let's move on.
Let's move on. How can law enforcement my god, that was so. Oh god. How can law enforcement differentiate between genuine kidnappings and crime masked as a disappearance?
There's literally no way.
Yeah, without investigation, that's almost impossible.
Correct. What safeguards are needed to prevent abuse in families with known histories of violence?
They've been
One
trying
word.
to figure
One
that
word.
out.
One word. Wood chipper.
Listen, they've been trying to figure that out for years, and unless you want to go into a very authoritarian government, it just ain't gonna work. Cause I've always said some people need to have licenses to be parents. I firmly believe that. And if you do that, it then starts becoming now my government is way too authoritarian because, now they're having selective breeding. So you see how that whole thing goes down?
Yep.
Like, it's a gamble.
How does faking a kidnapping affect public trust in missing child alerts?
Same thing as faking a goddamn police call.
Correct.
I mean,
Correct.
you're wasting fucking police resources. That's why they have, you literally go to jail for, doing anything like that.
Correct. Correct. What measures can society implement to protect the most vulnerable children and hold system accountable? That you know what I think about that question? I think about that if this people, right, that have children that are drug addicted and abusive people, uh if they already know about it, like once, you know what I mean? Like once you have this child, they usually have to have your information and mom's information, mom and dad's information, do their background checks, and then, sadly as that sounds, bring it towards, parental services. And they decide with a court to
Oh,
say, hey,
don't even get
are
me
these
started on
are
CPS.
these people, able to be parents when they have all these fucking issues?
Yeah, and then your case is one of like 10,000 in like your fucking county alone, and you're on a fucking backlog, and you're gonna take like 2 fucking years just to be looked at.
Right.
Yeah, see, that's all fine and dandy, and I 100% agree with you on that. On paper, wonderful. In practice, ass. Because take, for example, New York City. They'll put you down on that, and, bad person beats my wife and, slaps my kid around, so I put a complaint into CPS. They wrote it down, sent somebody out to investigate it, took notes of it, put it in their system, right? They said they were going to do some further investigating. It's 3 years later, and the kid's dead. Who is at fault there? Would it be the person who murdered the kid, or the people who actually knew about it but didn't do a follow-up investigation?
It's both. The whole system.
Exactly.
The world and the system failed them.
Exactly. It relies on, it's not one person, it's both. Because CPS damn well knew about it, but because they have a backlog of people in New York City, it's like, I want to say 3 years just to get somebody's case looked at because they're so backlogged. And that was in the 90s. Yeah, so
Wow.
imagine what it is today.
Right? Well, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we conclude our news block with a powerful development in the immigration policy arena. The Congressional Hispanic Caucus, the CHC, has formally launched a strategic initiative to fundamentally overhaul U.S. immigration and customs enforcement, ICE. In recent weeks, the CHC leaders, including Chair Adreno Espialat and co-leadership by Robert Menendez, have mobilized a multi-pronged campaign targeting conditions within ICE detention facilities, the agency oversight mechanisms, and its broader
here we
enforcement
go.
posture. On August 20th, 2025, the caucus sent a letter to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the DHS, demanding the end of what they call illegal oversight restrictions imposed on ICE detention centers, chief among them a 7-day notice requirement for congressional visits, which CHC members argue violates federal law. The push aligns with related CHC actions, demanding transparent data use practices between ICE and agencies like the IRS, rejecting increases in ICE budget and detention funding, and calling for alternatives to detention and pathways for immigrants rather than expanded enforcement. Uh, for Hispanic communities, immigrant rights advocates, and hundreds of thousands of families affected by enforcement activities, this initiates signals a major shift. A congressional bloc not merely asking for reform, but saying ICE's current model is unsustainable and must be re engineered. The stakes include civil liberties protections, oversight of a powerful federal agency, budget priorities, and how the U.S. treats non citizen in its custodies. Excuse me, real quick. Sorry, I had to take a sip of my drink, boys. Among the notable demands, the CHC wants the DHS and ICE to restore unannounced access for congressional oversight, improve detention facility conditions and transfers of funds that bypass Congress intent, and provide alternatives to detention, including community based case and management programs. The CHC also references broader legislative goals around immigration and modernization in worker protections. In parallel with the CHC initiative, a coalition of lawmakers filed a lawsuit on July 30th, 2025, against the Trump administration, accusing ICE and DHS of unlawfully blocking congressional visits to detention facilities. Reuters that case adds legal pressure to the policy push, giving the CHC's efforts both legislative and judicial dimensions. Additionally, advocacy groups report that local federal raids and enforcement operations, particularly in California, involving longtime residents and workers, have spurred CHC demands for data, transparency, and accountability. Will Congress act to restructure ICE oversight regime? Will funding for ICE detentions be reduced or reallocated? Will hearing or markup sessions emerge with CHC's framework embedded? One of the key signals will be whether DHS complies with oversight letters and restores access for members of Congress. The CHC's efforts may also influence how immigrants communities view enforcement and how advocacy groups mobilize. If successful, it could shift not only ICE operations, but the broader narrative around immigrant enforcement, detention, and transparency in federal agencies. My discussion questions here for you folks and my hosts here tonight. Is the CHC's call for an overhaul of ICE realistic, or is it too broad of a mandate?
Hey, my thing that I hate about this is the whole reason that group right there even exists is because the media has portrayed ICE as this like big bad boogeyman of the Hispanic and Latino communities. When in reality, they have like they have just taken and put all of the illegal immigrants of any color that have entered the country legally into the, ICE camps. But the only reason you're hearing of the Hispanic and Latino ones so frequently is because of this wonderful and, biased thing called the media we have today. Because, God forbid, it's unbiased and reports the truth. Because if, what I want to say, 2 or 3 days ago, they rounded up a bunch of dudes from Africa or something, and a week before that it was a couple people from India. And so, yeah, sure, the majority of them are Hispanic and Latino, but it's not like they're just single-handedly targeting them out and being like, yeah, Juan over there, he has a loving family and everything that are legal people, but he's not, so we're gonna have to put him in our ICE camp. No. Literally, most of them are illegal, or they're affiliated with either gangs, cartels, or, are wanted in their own country. Same with all the other ones. Am I defending their actions and how they go about it? No, I am not. It's just, I don't like how the media is portraying it, which results in all of these other groups, these protests, which we've seen one of the protests, which was in LA, that resulted in the damn police cars being lit on fire, buildings being destroyed.
I'm gonna piggyback off of that one, Grant. Those riots are the whole reason that the immigrations and customs and enforcement agency is receiving so much backlash, because there were stupid punk fucking kids in LA that thought they could step up to highly trained special forces operators and got fucking rocked, and now everybody's got their pussy in a fucking twist because everybody got their shit rocked. Don't
S.C.
step up to a
Johnson,
motherfucker
family
you're not
company.
trained to step up to. Plain and
Dad,
fucking simple.
calm down.
If you don't want to get put down and get put in fucking handcuffs because you thought it'd be a good idea to step up to a federal fucking agent, don't fucking do it. I mean, plain and simple. You play stupid fucking games, you're gonna win stupid prizes. This is the concept to fuck around and find out. And now that LA fucked around and found out, everybody's all butthurt with fucking ICE because of some of the shit they did. Well, guess what? Those motherfuckers broke federal fucking laws by putting their hands on federal enforcement operators. Plain and fucking simple. That's just like shooting a fucking alien. That's just like shooting a fucking cop.
Shots
I mean,
have been
well,
fired.
okay,
they are
that's kind of
LEOs,
extreme.
though.
Actually, yeah, they are. No, it's not. That's just like putting your hands on a fucking cop. You put your hands on a cop, you're gonna go to fucking jail. Plain and simple. You put your hands on a fucking immigrations and customs enforcement officer, you're gonna go into fucking handcuffs, and you're probably gonna go away for a while until they figure out what the fuck to actually do with your dumbass. Sorry, I got a little bit worked up there, but everybody got butthurt as soon as Trump. Everybody got butthurt as soon as Trump took office again and started actually enforcing some goddamn enforcement laws, or some immigration laws, excuse me. And for once, even though for once it's what this fucking country needs to have happen, there needs to be some sort of actual immigration law in place to protect us from the bullshit of the cartels and all the other shit that comes from down south and some down from down south and fucking over in the over east. I mean, so for everybody to get their fucking panties in a wad because you had federal law enforcement officers arresting people for doing stupid shit and trying to fight them. And I mean, yeah, there were videos that went around of these federal agents beating the absolute shit out of some of these kids. Guess what? Good, kid. Maybe you done fucked around and found out a little bit too much, and you stepped up to the wrong motherfucker, and he done shot your shit down real quick. And he made you figure out that you ain't as tough as you think you are. But it's fucking stupid. If a motherfucker's gonna stay like that's like trying to step up to his fucking security forces operator at a military installation. He's going to rock your shit and he might pull his 9 on your ass. I mean, plain and simple.
Moving along now, how much power does Congress actually have to reform an agency like ICE, given funding, executive authority, and legal constraint?
I mean, Congress could do something, yeah. It's not like Congress, after all, is the executive branch.
It's the
Or no.
executive branch.
That's what I just said, is it not?
You said Congress.
That's what well, Congress. Congress has power to say yes or no on whether or not money goes certain places.
Yeah, and right now that's not the place they should be fucking worrying about.
Correct.
Those bastards can't even agree on whether or not to reopen stuff. But we're not gonna get into that.
Like I agree. What needs to happen at this point is things just need to be put into effect, and there needs to be background checks run on almost every single U.S. citizen that is foreign, and then stakeouts need to be done, and things need to be set in motion to figure out who's here illegally and who's not. These mass detainings and whatnot are those are where things are getting ridiculous. But like I said earlier, when you want to step up to a motherfucker that's been trained to handle trained terrorists.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hard disagree with you on that. I don't want another Patriot Act.
We're in a recession now, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let me get through these few more questions so we can blow through this, ladies and gentlemen, because we're about to hit 2 hours and a half, and that was not my goal. It's always, I want to always shoot for 2, not surpass that. But we get into such great topics, ladies and gentlemen, that this is why we love when Revelation and our good friend Dabdon710 joins us, because we have a lot to talk about when this question arises. What protections and accountability mechanisms should apply to ICE detention facilities and their oversight? If ICE enforcement model is changed, what might replace it? More community-based alternatives, broader parole and release, or something else? How should the CHC balance the interests of immigrants' right advocacy with public safety concerns and enforcement mandates? Well, you guys want to give me a summary of all those questions into one? Huh?
So there, I feel like if we're gonna do this, like, and I know this is gonna sound absolutely awful, but I've seen it but I've seen a shit ton of memes of it on Facebook, and at this point, I'm all down for it. Fucking if be, do a program called Alien versus Predator, where each illegal each illegal person that's here goes out, hunts 5 child predators, either brings them in or removes them from the gene pool, and they get their papers. And they're legal citizens. And there's their citizenship.
The Hunger Games.
Okay, but no, seriously, all jokes aside, there should be some way while these illegal immigrants are in detention, we'll say, there should be some way for them to be able to get their legality and become a legal U.S. citizen, and not just sit there and like, because some of them may have just come here as a refugee and haven't had a chance to get their papers yet, and we're in the process of trying to get their papers, but they wanted to get the fuck out of their country so fucking quick that they just ran and didn't file. So there should be a way, especially for the ones that actually, like, if they can prove that they want to be here and can be a contribution to the American society, and not a thorn in the side of the American people, there should be a way for them to be able to get their papers and become legal U.S. citizens and not have to face deportation. Now, the ones that, like cartel members, the bad ones, we'll say the bad people, they don't get a chance. Plain and simple. They sit there until their home government is ready to take them back and prosecute them properly.
Yeah. And prosecuted? Yeah, right. Like the cartel gets prosecuted. They just get taken back and they get to rejoin.
That's why they sit there until the cartels are wiped out.
So what you're saying is they're just gonna rot.
Yep.
Because I don't think, especially if they're Mexican, I don't see those things getting wiped out anytime soon.
I mean, they keep playing these games.
Devin, people have been trying to wipe out fucking the Mexican cartels for years. When you wipe one of them out,
Another one.
5 of them pop up.
Exactly. That shit will never end. And never forget that undocumented immigrants, even without legal status, many still pay taxes through several mechanisms, as the ITIN, Individual Tax Payer Identification Number. The IRS issues an ITIN so people without and Social Security can still file taxes. Millions of undocumented immigrants use them every year to report income and pay federal state taxes. Payroll deductions with false or borrowed Social Security. Some undocumented workers are paid on the books using an invalid or borrowed Social Security number. Their employers still withhold taxes, and those funds go to Social Security and Medicare, but the workers can never claim them. The Social Security Administration estimates that undocumented immigrants contribute billions each year into the systems they'll never benefit from. Sales and property taxes. Every time they pay rent, buy gas, clothes, or food, they pay sales and property tax indirectly through their landlord's property tax or local retail taxes. Why does this matter? immigrants collectively pay hundreds of billions in taxes every year, funding schools, roads, and social programs. Many undocumented immigrants do it voluntarily, partly to show good faith if they ever become eligible for legal status. Despite paying in, many cannot receive federal benefits like Social Security, Medicare, or most welfare programs. So, yeah.
You see, and that like I'm okay with that. If you want to, if you like my statement earlier, they didn't the ones that obviously are paying taxes. They want to be here. They want to be here. They want
Well,
to
the
have it.
reason
They want
also,
to live
remember, they
here
want to
and
be
dream.
here, but it also is the process, like we've talked about in another episode, I believe, not long ago,
Yeah,
that we said that it all depends on the immigration policies that America has for these people. If they're the ones taking forever, what becomes of the immigrant? You know what I mean? They have to continue their lives every
exactly.
day to go to
And that
work, to
is
survive,
very
you
fair.
know?
And
And that's
and
what's
that's where it's
happening throughout,
not fair.
not just here in America, it's happening throughout the entire world. Is their immigration policy is completely fucked.
Like, yeah, and like that shouldn't be like the government should be able to see. Oh, hey, this person, even though they may not have their citizenship yet, they filed for it and they're trying to get it. They're just waiting for us. So we're not gonna fuck with them. Like, if like I said earlier, if a lot of the ones that want to be here physically ran from wherever they're from to one come here for safety as a refugee, and two to live the American dream. Um, so like back on the topic, if you want to be here and contribute to then by all means. It, but the ones that like I said, the bad people get to sit and rot. There should be a way to tell whether if they're for the ones that haven't been able to haven't had a chance to try to file for their citizenship. There should be a way for them to be able to file for citizenship while they're in detention. And the ones that have filed, there should be a way to go into a system and be like, oh hey, these people, all of these people have filed for citizenship. They're free and clear.
And this is, and real quick, before we head to our end of our segment, ladies and gentlemen, I have to say this little PSA for those out there who think that they have a right to say things like this. But if you ever tell someone to go back to their country just because they're speaking another language, you are the problem. America was built by immigrants, by voices from everywhere: Spanish, Arabic, Tagalog, Chinese, Swahili. It's all part of what makes this place alive. When you hear someone speaking another language, that's not a threat. That's culture. That's family. That's roots. So stop with the hate. Stop being racist. Respect people who they are, not for what the language that they speak. We all share the same streets, the same dreams, the same air. This is America, where every voice deserves to be heard. Stay kind, stay real, and stay unbound. Now, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be heading out here, and this wraps up the episode 21 of Unbound. We covered everything from government funding, holiday travel disruptions, in law enforcement interventions to shocking domestic crimes, corporate mega deals, and major immigration policy pushes. We want to leave you with some food for thought from tonight's discussion questions. Think about the impact of these events on communities, families, and the policies shaping our daily lives. And before we go, we want to remind you that if you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, support is available. You can call or text at 988, or if you're in danger from domestic violence, call 1-800-799-SAFE. Your life matters, and help is out there. Thank you for listening to Unbound, I'm Jay Morales with Revelations and our special guest, DavDom710. And stay informed, stay safe, and we'll catch you on the next episode Wednesday at 10 p.m. or 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Go ahead, guys. Say your goodbyes.
Have a good night, everybody. Stay safe.
You all sleep well, or if you have, listen to this before you are getting ready to go to work, we thank you and have a safe day at work.
You know, we're saying all these goodbyes and getting excited to leave to go to bed, but we forgot our most importantly of all, our daily reminder from our good friend Revelations. Go ahead, Revelations.
Yes. The daily reminder today is on average, everyone, the average American every month eats 3 grilled cheese. Not 4, not 2, 3. That is all.
And with that, folks, thank you again for listening to another episode on Unbound, and we'll catch you on Wednesday.
Peace.
Leaving you with our good friends, Tempest.
All I wanted to say, it's time to make it right. Seize today. All I wanted to change was everything I knew. Here today, but I don't need today.
in, but the cream will rise to the top. Oh yeah,